Art on the Beach is a dynamic way to tour private homes on Sullivans Island during the second Sunday in November. Today, I talk one-on-one with event organizer Alissa Lietzow for this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel and like Quintin's Close-Ups on Facebook. Alissa Lietzow, welcome back to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Hey, Quintin. It's good to see you.
Appreciate it greatly. Obviously, you're with the Pro Bono Legal Services there on Church Street in downtown Charleston. And obviously, you guys have a big part in the Art on the Beach. As a matter of fact, Sunday, November 14th, 2021 will commemorate the 22nd anniversary of Art on the Beach. 22 years later, what is the Art on the Beach?
So it is our biggest fundraiser. It has been benefiting Charleston Pro Bono Legal Services since 2015. Prior to that, it benefited an arts organization called Creative Spark. And essentially, it's a home tour on Sullivans Island, including art throughout the homes and a chef in each kitchen. So hence, Art on the Beach, chefs in the kitchen.
Let me ask it another way. What is the biggest difference between 22 years ago and right now?
Oh, wow. The event has grown exponentially. Even in the time that I've been in charge of running the event from 2016 forward, we have, I think, just continued to elevate the entire event. It has grown in its revenue, which is ultimately it's a fundraiser for legal aid. So in my mind, that's the most important thing. But it has increased in the caliber of artists and chefs that are participating. We have these amazing homes, and it's just really built a huge audience that now knows a little bit more about legal aid and why it's important.
As a matter of fact, when you talk about revenue, I know you spoke to me on Instagram and said, hey, this event for 2021 is sold out. Where are you with that?
Yeah, so I think there's a built-up demand for events after the year that everyone just went through. So we tried a tiered system of releasing those tickets. And each time we released a new set of tickets, they sold out. The last call ticket sold out in about 13 minutes.
Wow. And as a matter of fact, in response to concerns about selling out so quickly, I know that you all, as you mentioned, implemented the tier pricing model for the 2021 event. When exactly did the event sold out this year?
So tickets were released on July 1st, and the first round of tickets were sold out probably in the first round of tickets were sold out in the first 5 hours. The second round sold out within a few days, and then those last ticket release went on sale August 1st, and they sold out in 13 minutes.
Wow. And I know early bird tickets went on sale, as you mentioned, July 1st for $70 per ticket. There were only 100 tickets available at that price. And once it sold out, the ticket prices obviously increased to $75 per ticket. And finally, once general admission prices tickets sold out, the last call pricing of the $85 per ticket kicked in until the event obviously sold out. What ticket category was the best seller for you all?
We made the most money on the $85 ticket, and they sold out the quickest. Again, at the end of the day, there's a demand, there's people willing to pay. It is such a fun event. It's a great way to spend a Sunday afternoon, touring these homes, tasting the delicious food by these chefs, chefs that people know. So we have chefs like Salt House Catering and Crew Catering and Braised in the South, which we all know are award-winning food truck crew. So it's amazing food, and then we have such an eclectic array of artists from obviously the painters and sculptors and woodworkers. It's a really great group of people, and it's a wonderful way to spend an afternoon, all for a good cause.
All for a good cause indeed. And let me reread it again. In response to concerns about selling out so quickly, we implemented a tiered pricing model for the 2021 event. What other models do you want to use for the next year's event?
So we've increased ticket prices every year since I took over, and as long as we are selling out, we will continue to do so. There is an idea that we've tossed around about having a VIP ticket option, and so we're always evolving. We're always trying to keep our finger on the pulse of what the attendees want and what we can produce. So that's what we'll probably look forward to going into the future. Maybe there will be an after party of some sort, but I would like to continue to grow the event. Sky's the limit for us.
As a matter of fact, you said this too on your website, explore pop-up art galleries and private residences around Sullivans Island with sweet and savory treats, that is, from local chefs, as you just mentioned, along the tour. Where exactly will the tour be this year on Sullivans Island?
So we don't actually release the homes until the day or two before the event, and that's really to maintain a semblance of privacy for the homeowners. So far this year, the lineup that we have doesn't include any homes that are on the market for sale. That may change between now and the event date, but right now they're all privately owned homes, and we want to respect those homeowners. We don't actually release the lineup until a couple of days before. Those who have purchased tickets will be able to access the map online and on our social media pages. We'll also be emailing it to all of them. And the great thing about this tour, again, is there's no bottleneck. And so it's not as if you have to start at one home and go in a particular order. You could start at any home, spend as long or as little as you want at each home, which really allows for there to be a nice flow throughout the tour.
And I know Art on the Beach is a dynamic tour of homes on Sullivans Island, held obviously annually on the second Sunday in November. What other things will be featured this year?
So in response to everything that's going on, we wanted to add a component. We're doing a porches, patio, and poolside component this year. So for anybody who may have purchased the ticket, but that might be a bit hesitant to go into a home, they can still enjoy the tour and do that sort of new component, that porches, patio, and poolside, where we will have artists set up displaying their work.
And I know tickets are obviously required to enjoy this self-guided tour from 1 o'clock until 5 o'clock on the second Sunday in November. Ticket holders may begin their journey, as you mentioned, at any home, and a map will be provided obviously later on. Patrons are encouraged to hop from home to home, exploring a well-curated gallery of artists in each location. Who are the artists this year?
So, you asked, Quintin, how has the event grown over the last 22 years? And I have to say, one of the areas in which we've grown is the interest in artist participation. And so a few years ago, we implemented an artist application system, and a committee really reviews those on every kind of a bi-weekly basis. And we want to make sure that we are having a wide range of mediums, as I mentioned. So we don't want to have 30 painters. We don't want to have 30 jewelers. We try to have sort of, as I mentioned, an eclectic grouping. And so you're going to have jewelers, and Mark Tannenbaum, who's known as that wood guy, always does his woodworking, which is very popular. Some jewelers that have done the event year after year, like Dee Rule and Christina Jervy and Hermosa. They're fan favorites, and they'll all be back. But this year it's kind of nice. We have some wonderful new artists participating. And so I would encourage anybody who wants to get to know the artist a little bit more to follow us on social media. We are doing sort of a daily campaign of highlighting the different artists that are participating.
Yes, indeed. And speaking of water, there's water dripping from where I'm sitting right now, but I'm going to continue to go on. I know materials range from fine art to found art, including jewelers, as you mentioned, and the small batch craft makers. How many of those will it be total?
We typically have about 30 artists dispersed amongst the homes.
And I know, obviously, you just mentioned sample cuisine for local chefs along the tours, and all of it, obviously, will go towards this, obviously, the Charleston Pro Bono Legal Services, a nonprofit organization that provides free civil legal services to hundreds of local and low-income individuals and families in our community each year. Let me pause and ask you this, Alissa, what is the state of obviously pro bono legal services today?
It's been a heck of a year, I could say that. We saw the demand for services. The demand was there. The type of case law that we saw requests for services in certainly shifted over the past 12 to 18 months. Obviously, a lot with regard to landlord-tenant law, consumer law, employment law. Our office, I think, kudos to our team for doing a fantastic job to staying agile and accommodating to our clients. On a whole range of specters, whether it was shifting our methods of meeting with clients or accepting eligibility documents, we never shut down. So we did not let the pandemic affect our ability to provide those critical legal services to the community. Our team doubled in size. We went from a staff of 5 to 10 over the past year and a half. Really excited about our growth. We were able to hit new areas that we previously hadn't, to include human trafficking, this COVID response team. We've expanded housing court. So I always like to look for the silver linings, and there's plenty of them over the past year and a half for us.
And how many families and individuals did you actually serve in 2020?
Oh, goodness. I think it was about 800. We opened, I would have to double check, but I think it's about 800 cases that we opened up.
Wow. And how many of them did you all actually have to really screen?
Oh, so we typically get between 2,000 and 2,500 applications every year. And so we have an amazing intake coordinator who does that sort of screening and eligibility determination. If somebody's not eligible, it might be because they're outside of our service area or they make too much money. We never want to be the end point for somebody. So if that's the case, we make sure that we get them to an organization who is equipped to provide those services.
And what virtual program do you all provide?
We do a lot of virtual programming this past year. Outreach and education is a huge component of what we do. We want to make sure we're not just being reactive to the problem, but being proactive and educating people on ways that they could set themselves up to avoid a problem to begin with. So a lot of our educational outreach programming over the past year did go virtual. We recorded a lot of videos that went up on our social media pages. And Quintin, I mentioned those silver linings. I've got to tell you, going virtual actually, I think, benefited our clients tremendously. Historically, when we did these in-person events, we might see anywhere from 5 to 20 people in attendance. With these recorded videos on our social media platforms, we are now getting hundreds of views. And so what it means is clients that need the assistance aren't having to worry about maybe childcare or travel and parking. They can watch it at their convenience, not when they're worried about being on the job. And so we are really seeing a higher viewership, which at the end of the day is what's most important. So that forced transition last year has really, again, been one of the silver linings.
And what are the total billable hours per attorney for the pro bono work?
Well, we don't do billable hours because we provide our services at no cost to our clients. And so I hesitate to ever say it's free civil legal aid because we definitely pay our attorneys. They are some of the best in the community. I understand I may be biased in that, but we really do have a tremendous team. And we are funded through grants and fundraisers like Art on the Beach. So it's events like Art on the Beach that allow us to continue to provide these really critical services to the members of our community who otherwise would not have counsel.
What are the results that you have achieved for the public good?
Oh, goodness. I don't know how long we have for this interview. We have helped prevent tenants from being wrongfully evicted. A success story that comes to mind is someone who, during the middle of the pandemic, had a landlord who tried to have the electricity shut off to their home. And the individuals living in that home required electricity for medical equipment and then medication. And so luckily we were able to do an emergency hearing and get that electricity turned back on. But there are some dire consequences that could happen when you don't have an advocate on your behalf. And so that one comes to mind. We started a human trafficking program here where we're able to assist the survivors of trafficking. Right. And we've been able to help many with their various legal needs, whether it's in family law or immigration law. So really proud of the work that the team is doing. One that I think we had posted about not too long ago, it had to do with the extended stay in North Charleston, where some veterans were being wrongfully evicted, and we were able to literally go to the parking lot, set up a table, and provide those critical services. We try to be mindful that our clientele is not going to have easy access necessarily to the technology needed to make phone calls or send in documents. Transportation could be difficult. And so we really put ourselves out there and try to be a resource for people and meet them where they are.
And what is that typical client-attorney ratio?
Currently we have 5 practicing attorneys, and we open about 800 cases a year. With the addition of the housing court coordinating attorney, I do anticipate that 800 figure to be increased because we're looking at about, I'd say, 30 to 35 cases per month for housing court, and that's in the middle of the moratorium. When that finally is lifted, we anticipate there being an influx of those housing cases. And so it's anybody's guess right now what the 2021 numbers will look like, but our staff does a phenomenal job for so many in our community.
And Alissa, let me ask you, what is your plan for retention and obviously recruitment to increase new and really active volunteers for the next 5 years?
Yeah, I think as more people learn about who we are and what we do, and especially, again, considering the past year, there are plenty of attorneys out there who want to give back. They want to utilize their skills in a way that could benefit the community. And so, just within the last 2 weeks, I've had a handful of attorneys reach out to me via email or a phone call and say, I am a general counsel, but this is the area that I practice. How can I help? I work at a big law firm, but I want to do some more pro bono work. How can I help? And so one of my jobs is to try to play matchmaker between attorneys and learn, what is their area of practice, what is their level of engagement they're looking for, and pair them to a need that we have. It could be as simple as teaching one of those educational classes, say in bankruptcy or consumer law, or it could go to taking a case for direct representation. It could be participating in housing court, or they could donate, because at the end of the day, those dollars are required for us to pay things like malpractice insurance and paper. So no matter who you are or what your area is, there is a way for you to give back to the community through our office.
And speaking of pairing, let me go back to art on the beach. What is that? Yeah, what does art on the beach mean to you?
I would love to attend as a patron, because apparently it's a lot of fun. I'm usually running around behind the scenes trying to manage about 8 different event sites all in one afternoon. Yes. But look, really, at the end of the day, Quintin, what we're doing is we are expanding the idea and the information about legal aid outside the traditional legal realm. I don't have to explain to lawyers the importance of access to justice and having an advocate. They get it. But this past few years, I've been able to really grow our fan base to the culinary community, to the artistic community. And what it means is that we have new audiences who are stopping and thinking and saying, wow, they're providing a really incredible service. And they keep coming back. They keep wanting to support us. And so to me, it means that we are just spreading our mission to more people who may be in a position to help. And at the end of the day, that's what's really important, sharing our mission and doing the most good. So.
And where do you see that audience moving towards in the next 5 to 10 years? Will it increase in your mind?
Always. I never settle. I'm never satisfied with where we are. I am always looking for what's next. And, look, right now, the only way for somebody to attend Art on the Beach is to become a sponsor. And so I like that we've set ourselves up to be in a position where tickets are sold out, but there's high enough demand that people are coming and saying, wow, I really want to go to this event. I'm going to sponsor so I could get some tickets. And again, those sponsorship dollars, they all come back to us. And so it is a very, very low cost fundraiser for us, which means that we net the majority of the process of profits. Right. There are very few expenses related to the event, so it's sort of a unicorn in that sense. It's not a big gala where we're needing to rent a space, or we're not needing to have a caterer or go to an event rental company. None of that really is part of this event. So when somebody supports Art on the Beach, they could rest assured that pretty much all of the money that they are spending is coming back to support legal aid.
And how can they reach out to you to sponsor this event?
So anyway, I will make myself available via phone. Our office phone number is 843-853-6456. My email address is going to be alietzow, that's Lietzow, at charlestonprobono.org. I'm also the person that runs social media. So if you reach out to me at any of the social media, whether it's Charleston Pro Bono or Art on the Beach, you're getting me on the other end.
That is amazing. Well, Alissa Lietzow, thank you so much for your time. And again, welcome back to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Thanks, Quintin. Great seeing you.
Likewise.